Sec 4 NA Revision Checklist Part 2A. Now, in this part of our lesson, we'll be covering some examples on arithmetic and financial transactions. Now, these type of questions include exchange rates. We have also interest, percentages, and calculation of money and installment plans as well. So we shall take a look at the following questions. In Singapore, Amy pays $1.65 for 1 litre of diesel. So what does this mean? So that means I know that in Singapore, 1 litre will cost you $1.65. Now on a visit to Hawaii, she paid $4.48. Oh, now you notice that the units for the money is different. So we probably need to change the units. And that she can buy 1 gallon of diesel for that. Then we also know that 1 gallon is 3.785 liters. So let us write down some important information. We know that 1 gallon in Hawaii costs $4.48. Now we'll try to make the number of units the same. So this is already 1 liter, quite decent, right? So I'm not going to change, but I'm going to change the gallon. So gallons tells me that this is 3.785 liters. And this cost, now this is in USD, so I cannot compare. So what I can do is I'm going to change the USD to Singapore dollars. Now 1 USD costs 1.242 Singapore dollars. So to convert USD to Sing dollars, I will need to multiply by 1.242. And that gives me this amount of money. Now, if you're going to make them able to compare them, we'll need to make them the same units. So I'm going to change this to 1 liter. How do I change it to 1 liter? I need to divide by 3.785. So I should divide this by 3.785 and it will cost me so much money. So now let's compare. This is in Singapore and this is in Hawaii. So is diesel cheaper in Singapore or cheaper in Hawaii? So diesel is cheaper in Hawaii. Okay, now this may not be the only method to get to the correct answer. You can also change it to $1 or 1 USD dollar, or you can play around with the different units as long as you make sure there is a basis for comparison. So for example, in my case, I compare 1 liter with 1 liter. Or that means you can also compare $1 with $1, 1 USD dollars with 1 USD dollar, so on and so forth. Alright, have you gotten your answer? Moving on to the next question. Now, in this question over here, a field has an area of 1,400 meters square. An average of 60 dandelion plants grows on each square meter. So, 1 square meter, okay, gives you 1 meter square, or 1 square meter has 60 plants. Correct? So now I have a total of 1,400 square meters. It will give you how many plants? I'll need to multiply 60 by 1400, and that will give me 84,000 plants. Right? Each plant has an average of 20 flowers. So he estimates these plants will produce 200 million seeds. Okay, and they want to find the average number of seeds produced by each flower. So that means I'm not going to have plants. I'm just going to keep 2 flowers. So, so many meters square will have 84,000 plants. But in average, you have 20 flowers. So I'm going to multiply by 20 to give me, wow, this number is a very large number. Flowers. Okay, now question says that it has 200 million. What is million in standard form? Times 10 to the power of 6, right? So now they are asking us to find the average number of seeds per by each flower. Seeds per flower. So seeds per flower means I'm going to take seeds divide by the flower. So number of seeds that we have is 200 million. Divide by the number of flowers we have is so much. Some of you may like to write all the zeros out instead, so that's up to you. And from here we can calculate for the answer. And this is the answer. So rounding it off to 3 single figure, that will be approximately 119 seeds per flower. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, next question. We're going to talk a little bit about hire purchase. Okay, though not sure whether do you remember what is hire purchase. Now the cash price of a TV is given to be 3,499. She bought it on hire purchase. So in this case, my cash price is 3,499. But then if I buy it on hire purchase, she paid a deposit. The deposit in this case is 1/5 of the cash price. So multiplying these, we'll get the number $699.80. And then after that, she makes a 24 monthly payments. So total installments is 24 monthly. And that gives me 24 times 130, a value of 3,120. Find the total amount that she paid. So total amount paid will now be, taking 699.80, I'm going to add 3120 to it. And I'm going to get the number 3819.80. Money to DP. Okay, so this question should be relatively simple. Have you gotten the answer? Now let's move on to the next question. Oh, this question is quite interesting. A train that is 220 meters long. So I shall draw a train carriage. Okay, so this train itself is 220 meters long. Right? It passes through one tunnel, so I will have a tunnel over here. Then this tunnel is 4.8 kilometers long. Take note. This is 220 meters. This is 4.8 kilometers. So are they of the same units? No, right? So we probably need to do some changing of the units a bit later. Now, next they tell me that the average speed of the train is 31 kilometers per hour. And they ask me to change this into meters per second. So I know that I have 31 kilometers for 1 hour. I want to change it into meters per second. How to change 31 kilometers to meters? We multiply by 1,000. So this will be 31 times 1,000. 1 hour will have 3,600 seconds. And that gives us an answer of... Okay, in this case, I'm not going to use decimal place. I prefer to keep the answer exact. So I'm going to use a fraction. So this will be my answer. Now calculate the time taken for the train to pass completely through the tunnel. So now let's take a look at this train over here. Okay, my train is not drawn proportionately, right? But when it's at the end of the tunnel, when you have traveled for 4.8 kilometers here, right? The head of the train is probably somewhere down here. Okay, then this is still the head of the train. But when it's down here, it traveled for 4.8 kilometers, right? Okay, it had not gone out of the tunnel yet. So there is a length of the body of 220 meters. So in order for it to pass completely through the tunnel, the distance that this train carriage need to travel is 4.8 kilometers plus another 220 meters. This is the total distance that you will have traveled. But we know that this units is not the same units, so we prefer to change it. Now they have given me to ask me to find speed just now in meters per second. So probably in this case, I'll prefer to change the kilometers to meters. So how do we change kilometers to meters? We multiply by 1000. So 4.8 kilometers will give you 4,800. I'm going to add another 220, and that gives me a total of 5,020 meters. Now they want us to find the answer in the time taken in minutes and seconds. How do we find the time? Distance divided by speed. Right, so I'm going to use the exact number. And I got an answer of 58230 over 31. Okay, this is in terms of seconds. So how do I change it to minutes and seconds? So 1 minute has 60 seconds. So I'm going to divide this by 60. And I got 9,111 over 155. So this means it's 9 minutes. Okay, and how do I get it back to seconds again? So this now will become 1115 811 over 155 times 60 seconds to give me approximately 42.9667. So rounding it off to the nearest second, we will have 43 seconds. Okay, have you gotten the answer? Now next, let's take a quick 2-minute breaks before we continue with the next part of the questions. Okay, back to our lesson itself. Now in this question over here, this is talking about actually the depreciation. Alright, that means the value of something keeps dropping. Okay, now we have the original value of a car to be a cash price of 78500. Now, every year, the value of the car decreased by 10% of its value at the start of the year. So now, in the first year itself, 78500 is the start of the year. So by the end of the year, I've decreased by 10%. Correct? So if I've originally 100%, I'm decreasing it by 10%. So I'm left with how many percent? So at the end of the year, I'll be left with only 90%. So at the end of the year 1, I'm left with only 90% of my original value, 785,800. And this gives me the number. Okay, we have this amount of money. Now they tell me that at the end of year 3, that means this cycle is going to repeat, right? So what I'm going to do now is end of year 2. Okay, so now the starting of the beginning, the starting is now of year 2 is now which value? Is it the first one or the second one? So well, the beginning of the end of year 2 is this number, right? So what we can do is we're only left again from 100%. I drop by 10%. I'm left with 90%. But this is 90% now of the new value. Okay, and I'll get a number for this value. Now I'm going to calculate the last year, end of year 3. So end of year 3, this is again from 100% drop to by 10% to give you 90%. But that's 90% of the value at the start of the year. So the at the start of the year is this number over here, the third number. So I'm going to multiply 90% to 63585. And I'll get the value. Now this will be the amount at the end of year number 3. Now notice that we repeated something along the line. Okay, from the number 78500, I have multiplied it by 90%, 90% second time, 90% third time. So if your concepts are not bad, you can actually see a particular pattern. So in this case, the shortcut for this method is actually to take 78500 times a decrease, which is a 90% left, to the power of 1, 2, 3 for 3 years. And you should be able to get the same answer over here. Okay, now we'll move on to our question. Have we met our objective yet? The question did not say only just want the final value, right? They say calculate the overall percentage reduction compared to its original value. So how do I find the reduction? So in this case, the percentage reduction will be given by taking the original value, subtract the final value, okay, over, they say compared to what? Compared to the original value. So what's the number in the denominator? And that will be 78500. Then everything multiplied by 100%. Okay, and we should be able to get the answer. And I got 27.1%. Have you gotten the answer? Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, this is talking about rate again. Now, David's car uses fuel at an average rate of 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers driven. So I know if I were to drive 100 kilometers, I use a petrol of 6.7 liters. Now in 2015, Dave drove 19629 kilometers. So now they gave me a new number. I have 19629 kilometers. What can I find? I can find the amount of petrol used, right? So how can we do that? We take this, divide by 100 times 6.7, and we get the answer to be so much liters. Okay, so next, then they tell me that David pays an average of $2.42 per liter. So 1 liter costs $2.42. So now I already know the amount of liters that I have. I'm going to multiply it by the price. Okay, so the total amount that he paid will now be taking the quantity times the price. And we'll get the answer to be in 2 decimal places. Alright, so this is the amount of money for the petrol. Okay, next part of question says the total distance driven in 2015. This distance in 2015 is the number 19629. This is 35% more. Okay, 35% more. That means this number over here is 35% more than. So when it's more than 2014, that means the year in 2014 is 100%. So now this number in 2015 will be how many percent? 35% more. That means this number will be 135%. This number is not 100%, okay? Because the number in 2014 is the one that is 100%. So now I know that 135% represents 19629 kilometers. Take note, do not use the equal sign because percentage and kilometers are not equal. So now we're going to find in 2014 100%. So that will be taking 100 divided by 135 times 19629, and that gives me the answer. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, in the next part of this question or this worksheet down here, we're going to do a little bit of algebra but related to rate. So be prepared. Okay, now let's us begin. I have X gram of cheese cost me 99 cents. So I'm going to write this down. We have X gram cost 99 cents. Okay, find an expression for the number of grams of cheese that can be bought for y dollars. Oh, they gave me the y dollars instead, right? So instead of finding in cents, they want dollars. So what I can do now is I'm going to find 1 cent. 1 cent, how much can I buy? To find 1 cent, I need to take x divided by 99. So it'll be x over 99 gram. But they want the unit to be dollars, isn't it? $1 has how many cents? 100, right? So we're going to multiply. So here's divide by 99. Next, I'm going to multiply by 100. Okay, to give me $1 now. Okay, it will cost me. So you're going to use this whole expression. So x over 99 times 100. But we should write this as one single fraction. So it will be 100x over 99 grams. Okay, and this is the price for $1. So now if I want to get y dollars, it will cost me, how much will it cost me? I'll need to multiply by y. If I multiply by y, will the y go to the numerator or the denominator? Well, you go to the numerator. So in this case, the answer will be 100x times y over 99 grams. Okay, have you gotten the answer? Now, following this type of example, we will try one more question before we end off for the day. So one more question in terms of ratio now, but in terms of algebra. So Rashid has a rope of P meters. He cuts it into two parts in the ratio x is to y, where x is greater than y. Okay, it's difficult to understand questions in terms of algebra like that. So let me give an example. For example, I have rope of 15 meters. Example, okay, example only. And then I cut it into two parts in the ratio, maybe for 2%, 4:1 units. Okay, ratio 4:1, where x is greater, so this is bigger than y, so this is smaller. Okay, so find the difference in the length. Before I even find the difference in length, how many units are there in total? Oh, I know that there are actually 4 plus 1, 5 units to represent 4 plus 1 units. So 5 units to represent 15 meters. Then if I want to find the difference, so now let's say this is 4 and 1, the difference will be how many units? 3 units, right? So 3 units to represent, then you can work out the answer, 3/5 times 15. Correct? Now we're going to change this everything into algebra. So Rashid has P meters. Alright, exactly the same as 50 meters, something the idea that matches. He cuts into a ratio x is to y. From here, what is the total number of units that we have? The total number of units is x plus y units. So x plus y units represent p meters. Okay, and they tell me x is bigger, y is smaller, and now they want the difference. How do you get the difference? That means I want to find x minus y units. Alright, and if that's the case, I'm going to get the answer. I'm going to take this, divide by this, times this. So that will be x minus y over x plus y times p. When we have multiplication, where does the p goes to? Numerator, denominator, the numerator. So now this is multiplied to the whole of the numerator. So my final answer will be p bracket x minus y over x plus 2 meters. Oh no, not x plus 2, sorry, x plus y meters. So this will be my answer. Have you gotten the answer? Now this concept is actually quite useful. Please revise on it and make sure you understand it. Alright, now we have come to the end of today's lesson. Please try the next page over here. Now, please try this page over here. We have map skill. So I believe they will be able to do the map skill. And then we will go through the next few questions in the next lesson. Now, see you for the next lesson.